So as you can see, I've just lined this loose bottom, and it really does need to be loose bottom, rectangular cake tin. I'll pop the link below if you want to find one of these online. So first up, into the blender, I'm going to add half a cup of pecan nuts, half a cup of macadamia nuts. So pop the lid on. Feel free to add a cup of any nut you really like. I really like macadamia nuts. They got a nice sort of rich flavour, and also the pecans just add another nice flavour too. So I'm going to get them into this bowl. Make sure you get every little bit out. So next up, into this bowl, I'm going to add 2 cups of almond flour, or just ground almonds, basically, that's all they are. Almonds really help create that sort of biscuity base that we're trying to get. I'm going to add a tablespoon of peanut butter. You can use almond butter if you want. And this is actually my homemade peanut butter. And the recipe for this can be found in my book, full of other amazing quick essential recipes like that too. Next, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and I also add a pinch of salt. Now let's give this a good old mix. This can all be done in a blend if you wanted to, but I just wanted to show you the sort of texture that I need you to get when making the base. Oh, by the way, my book is available to pre-order on Amazon now. I didn't mention that before. If you just type in Vegan 100 or Gaz Oakley into the search bar on Amazon, in any country around the world, you'll be able to find it. I nearly forgot to add a little bit of sweetness, so I'm adding 3 tablespoons of agave nectar. So when you get it to this texture, you can see it starting to combine really well. It's now time to get it into our lined loose bottom cake tin. So simply just bundle it all in and compact it into the base. Just using a spatula. You can even bend a spoon if you've got a spoon to spare, but using a spatula is fine, and using your hands as long as they're clean. And just so you know, this is a 8-inch cake tin. You can use just a baking tray, but it's just so much easier using one of these. Make sure you're pressing down the edges as well, keeping everything tucked in nicely. This makes around 12 to 14 bars, so you're going to make a good amount. They're really rich. You can keep them in the freezer for at least 3 months, so you've got a constant supply of sexy sweet treats. I need to stop saying sexy. Once you've got it all level, it's time to pop it in the freezer until we've made our caramel to go on top. So I'm going to pop this in now. So to make the salted caramel, we're going to be using these amazing dates which have been destoned. I'm using Medjool dates, and I've got 2 cups going into my Ninja cup. Next, I'm going to add 1 cup of almond milk. I've got 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, half a cup of just filtered water, pinch of Himalayan salt. And now let's get this blended up, and it'll turn into the most amazing salted caramel. Blitz it on high for about 1 minute. Now let's see how good this looks. Oh wow, look at that golden goodness. It looks just like caramel, it looks amazing. So I'm going to give this a little try. That is really good, but because I'm calling it salted caramel, I'm just going to add a tiny pinch more of salt. Just give it 1 more blitz, and then we'll get it on top of the biscuit base. So our biscuit base is nicely chilled and almost set, and it's just time to get this amazing caramel on top. Look how thick that is. That's the exact sort of consistency you want. The reason why you need the caramel to be this consistency is because it doesn't freeze totally in the freezer, because there's a lot of sugar in the dates, which is actually a bonus, because you don't have to wait for it to defrost totally before eating them. They're already nice and melted in the center. So once you spoon this all over and made sure it's nice and level, we want to get this in the freezer and make sure it's in there for at least 3 hours. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to pop it in the freezer. It's time to get this out of the cake tin, and it should just pop out like so. We'll pop that on there, and I'm going to cut it up into bars, and then I'm going to get it back in the freezer whilst I make the chocolate and then we'll drizzle over the chocolate and they'll be ready to serve within half an hour. So as you can see, I've just been putting my knife in some hot water, and that just helps me cut through it. So all I want to do is just cut it up into some nice even bars, like so. Just dipping my knife in each time to keep it warm, so it just slices through. It's cutting so nicely and it's really crunchy, the biscuit base. I can feel it with my knife. Cut the rest of the bar, then cut once through the middle. Carefully place the bars onto the tray, ready to be coated in the chocolate. Place the tray back into the freezer for 30 minutes or until you've made your chocolate. Okay guys, I've just got these out of the freezer, so I'm just going to put some pecan nuts over the top, and as you can see, the caramel remains really nice. It doesn't go hard in the freezer, it's nice and melted basically. So you have to work quickly. The pecans just add another little crunch, another little bit of flavour, and they look really nice underneath the chocolate. So to make the chocolate, all I'm going to do, I've got half a cup of coconut oil which is melted in there, and I'm going to add some raw cacao powder, and it's just literally possibly about half a cup of that. You have to really play it by sort of sight and see how it looks, and you want to get that nice thick melted chocolate look. And for sweetness, I will add some maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, just add agave nectar. Obviously the caramel is really sweet, so we're not going to need too much. So when there's no lumps, just need to add a touch of maple. I'm going to just go in with about a tablespoon. Give that a nice quick stir, and that looks really, really nice. And I'm just going to pour it over very, very gently. I actually like it when they're not fully coated. It just adds a little bit of a rustic charm to it. Pour it over, and as you can see, it's already starting to set. Look how nice and shiny that is. You have to move quite quickly because we don't want it to melt the caramel too much. I will put the full written recipe on my website, and you'll get all the good quantities for the amount of chocolate to make for the full amount of bars. I've just added the chocolate that was caught by this grease-free paper back into the bowl. And I'm just going to finally cover these to the best I can. You want that nice crunch on the chocolate when they're set. It's going to taste amazing. So I'm going to pop those in the freezer about half an hour, and then I'll try them for you. So guys, here's the 7. I coated it in the lovely chocolate. We'll hear that crunch first. Look at this. Oh wow. And look inside. Look how melted that is. Look at that. I just love the shape of the pecan nut there. Let me give this a try. That is really, really good. Really, really, really good. I think the only way I can really show the cameras how good these look, just by cutting them open and holding them up for you. Look at those. Come on guys, come and have a look how good those are. These just look so good. I've just got to send a Snapchat.